Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello everyone and welcome to Apex Online Racing Hype Energy Formula 1 Leagues PC F1. I am Fizzymon and I will be your host today for today's race here in Sakir. This is round number 5 here at Bahrain. Now, one thing to note, we are not doing the normal Bahrain circuit. No, we are doing Bahrain short here today, so the lap times will be just over a minute, but in order to compensate for that, we will be running a 100% race. So one of the longest races in recent AOR history will be today. Now, there is no expected rain, which is not surprising considering we are in the desert. So the drivers will be going for their best dry setups here today. I do not have... There's the game volume. Not sure what happens there. And we're just going to go ahead real fast, and I'm going to turn off my Discord, turn off my notifications, just to avoid any kind of excess chatter, as some of the drivers are having troubles connecting to cars. Now, interesting, like I said, it's going to be an under a 1 minute lap here, and we got 18 minutes for the short qualifying session, so I expect to see a lot of laps out on track. But interesting, though, because of the fact it's 100% race, these tire wear will be a lot less. So I'm curious to see how many laps these guys will do on each set of soft tires that they run. Now, of course, drivers could go on to the mediums as well, but I cannot say that that is optimal, as the medium tire delta is about a half second around here, and track position will be key, as overtaking is surprisingly difficult. So we'll just have to wait and see. Gonna go on ahead real fast. Getting something set up. Turn off that. Alrighty, there we go. So we're all squared away to go today. So the race will start. So I see in the chat now, the race will start at the end of qualifying. Shouldn't be any lobby restarts. It is a dry race, as expected. Son Johan goes fastest with a 58.4, and then Fernandez goes quicker by 0.4 with a 58 flat as the drivers begin their first sets of flying laps here. Everyone on the, well, most drivers on the soft tires. VRL Dean, a newcomer today. He is in the McLaren. He is actually taking over for Brownie this season, who had to retire, unfortunately, due to personal issues. So we wish the best of luck for Brownie, and hopefully we get to see him in the future, as he was always entertaining to watch. But Pedro Dean here is taking over control of that McLaren, currently looking to set his car in the top 10 and bring some good points home to the McLaren team. Speaking of good points, our current championship leader and winner of 3 out of 4 races, Lenny, currently in the pits in his Renault, has been absolutely dominant this season. Will anyone have an answer here today as in Sakir? I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see. His teammate, on the other hand, By Blue, up to 3rd now as Johan goes quicker with a 158.1. By Blue looking pretty good right now in that Renault, sitting P3, but still very early on, as Deads in the Williams overtakes his teammate in the first position. The two Brazilians off to a quick start of the session. But some of our front runners in the championship have not come out, like the likes of Christian Sendel and Jan Fehler and Lenny PNR. So lots of laps to be done. 17 cars in total, top 10 having to start on the tires to qualify on. So while we're seeing drivers do several laps on each set of soft tires, as Christian Sendel does a 57.9. First driver into the 57s. How far into them will we go? Not sure. So that is so far. Christian Sendel is currently sitting on pole. Let's keep a look at the gaps. 16 thousandths of a second back to dead. So it's going to be a very, very close qualifying by the looks of it. Though with 13.5 minutes go, locked in half, and we've got some slow Williams out of the final corner as Fernandez. Question is, are the Brazilian pairs going to be doing slipstream down the front straight? Now they're both back into the pits now. You know, slipstreaming with your teammate around this track may be very beneficial as we go ride with Macer Hoffey. He's currently on an in-lap. Given that slipstream may get you that extra tenth that you need. So I'll have to keep an eye on it. Also, please let me know if there's any kind of stream lag or delay, whatnot. I got a notification saying I lost a couple frames due to encoding lag, but it's only at 1%. So I'll just keep monitoring that as we go on. And if there's any issues, please do not hesitate to talk about it in the chat. Kev Jennings, meanwhile, first driver not to go on softs, doing the mediums like I talked about. I guess he's going to go for that reverse strategy here today, which is going to be tricky to get into the top 10 on the mediums, but if he can do that, hats off to him as he's back into the pits after his first set of runs. Speaking of first set of run, Jan Fehler currently going through turn 1 now. We're going to go right on board with him, actually, as he goes through the first sets, of course, now through 2 and 3. Very tricky braking zone of turn 4, hitting that apex, using all the exit curb there, coming through turn 5 onto the back DRS straight. First sector, he is purple with a 21.5. That's a very respectable first sector. Now into turn 6, not exactly a heavy braking zone at the end of that DRS straight, locking up slightly, going nice and wide to get a nice straight line exit into turn 7. Do not touch that inside curb, but definitely use the exit curb as well. Now going through turn 8, another tricky braking corner, high speed. Now at the end of sector 2, is he still purple? No, he's not purple at the end of sector 2, but it's still looking like it's going to be a really good lap now into turn 9 and then turn 10. Lock up with the right front, planning the power down as quickly as possible. And for the run to the line, Jan Fehler will cross the line. It is it's a 57.939. That is provisional pole for the McLaren. He's got it ever so slightly over Lenny, who's 16 thousandths of a second behind, who just set what was provisional pole for about 10 seconds right up the road from Fehler. And it was a half a tenth ahead of Christian Sendel. So the margin's very close here in the early stages of qualifying. Looking like it's going to be a very, very close battle here at the front. Also expect to see a lot. I mean, look at that top 5 separated by less than a tenth right now. Absolutely amazing stuff so far going on as F1 Racer jumps up to P6 in the Mercedes, fitting into that little gap between Johan and Fernandez. F1 Racer is, let's look at his results this season. So he did not race in Britain. He's got 2 P8s in Austria and Hungary, and then a P5 in Suzuka. So currently in P7 as ByBlue jumps up right behind Deads into 5th place, the 2 Renaults towards the front now. But F1 Racer back to him, looking to have his best result of the season. Currently in 8th, which is what he's got 2 finishes in, but he's looking to add more points to his 18 points that he has. So we'll have to wait and see what happens as we go through the next few races. Another jumper up front, BRL Dean in the McLaren, all the way up into 3rd with a mighty lap. I believe he's in the 57s as well. Let's go ahead and look. Yes, the top 4 all in the 57s. Christian Sendel, the 57.997. So some very, very close laps right here. Look at that. Very much. F1 Racer goes even faster on 2-lap-old softs, jumps up to P3. So how about that? Drivers electing to do several laps on the softs and maybe save a pair for the race. I would assume most of these drivers are using the softer set, so they should have 4 sets of soft tires. I don't see the point in having an extra set of mediums, because in qualifying, clearly won't work out. Look at the likes of Kev Jennings, who did his best lap on 2-lap-old mediums, but he's a second adrift off the pace and a half a second behind the nearest rival. So as Kev Jennings goes up to 10th on those fresh softs, 1-lap-old softs there, F1 Racer cutting the corner a little bit to kind of get out of the way, I guess. I mean, he's definitely going to have to yield as Christian Sendel goes a tenth quicker than Jan Fehler. He's 0.12 ahead and in the 57.8s. How far will we go? Not sure. I'm getting a feeling we might see some 0.6s by the end of the session. We know Lenny has been dominant with his 1-lap pace around here, along with his race pace. Jan Fehler, also, I did get to watch a league race of him earlier this week and around this track, and he was able to dip into the 57s by a margin. And Christian Sendel is no slouch either. And that's just the top 3 alone. I do expect to see some surprises throughout the grid. But one mistake is the difference between improving and not. I got some yellow flags at the end of Sector 2, Alpha Tauris. And Fernandez, the Brazilian, and the Williams going third now. So everyone improving like crazy, jumping into the 57s right now. It's hard to, it's kind of hard to say because you're used to saying 1 minute something, but no, it's just under a minute all these lap times. The shortest lap on the calendar this season, although this will be the longest race. We're expecting it to be close to an hour, so you could argue it's the endurance race of the season. So, and that is saying that there is no safety cars as well, because the race lap time should be about a minute each. 57 laps, that's 57 minutes, and you got to account for the fact that there will be pits or not. If there's a safety car, it should probably go over the 60-minute mark. So it's going to be real. I mean, as good as this one-lap pace, as good as it is to have this one-lap pace around this track here, you're going to have to do it 57 more times with the pace during the race, with heavier, a lot more fuel than these drivers are used to, and the fact that we're going to have to go with 80-some kilograms as Fernandez. Did he just match Christian Stendel's time and beat him? Yeah, he did match him, but I guess he beat him by less than a thousandth of a second, and he was given a lap. Christian set the lap first, but the game says Fernandez was quicker. So how about that? Fernandez on provisional pole. It would be his first pole position of the season. See a lot of cars there on their outlaps going through turns 4 and 5. So it's going to be a car park out there soon enough. What is Fernandez's teammates Dead's doing right now? He's on an outlap. Who's currently on a lap? Lenny is currently on a lap. Purple through Sector 2, though. Can Lenny respond to the lap set by the Brazilian? He's only got to close it up by a tenth and a half. We didn't get to see what his sector time was, but now we'll turn that back on. Coming up to the line, what will be a 57.7. Lenny goes to provisional pole. The first one into the .7s, but can anyone beat that time? It shouldn't be too hard per se, considering the gap is so small, but this track, it's so easy to make a mistake, and one mistake will cost you several tenths, which could be the difference. Look, 2 tenths all the way back to P13, and that is more so to the nature of the track, but we'll get some of our closest margins. Lenny going even faster through the first sector than his previous best, opting to take 2 flying laps on this set of soft tires. Now, he's coming through turn 7 and now turn 8. Will he keep going through? Yeah, he's still burning ERA, still using fuel now. What's his sector 2 time as he comes up to the line out of turn 8? He's a tenth and a half up right now. Lenny's absolutely flying. Can Lenny go into the 57.6? Is now coming through the penultimate and the final corner. Gets a lot of rear wheel spin. Not sure. Oh, and he decides to bail out on the lap at the last moment. Lenny, who looked like he could have stolen his own pole position and just added to his lead, elects to opt out of it as Johan goes up to P4 in the Haas. Haas looking to have their best day of the season. The Haas team, let's look at how their results have been so far. So Johan here does not have any points this season. He is a 14th, a DNF, 11th, and 13th. So this P4 right now sets him up very, very nicely. His teammate Reges has 8 points after getting 6th at Suzuka. So the Haas team definitely looking to improve on their 6 total points. And Johan leading the way from P4 at the moment, but very small margins between him and everyone else. Jan Fehler currently on a lap as well. He only did a 57.9 last lap, so that was not an improvement, but he will elect to go again. He's got a bunch of more cars behind him, and with 5 minutes to go in the session, things are really starting to kick off now. Something to note, Krunex currently in the pits in his Alfa Romeo. Did his best lap on 4-lap-old softs, so he's looking to not qualify in the top 10. But it's interesting, 2 tenths the gap from 1st to 11th now. Who just jumped up there? Was that Deads? Yes, Deads just jumped up to P4. But Christian Sendel just jumped up to P1 to 57.6, beating Lenny's time by over a tenth. A phenomenal lap from the Alfa Romeo drivers. Christian goes up to provisional pole. But does Jan Fehler have an answer from 6, or does his teammate Dean have an answer? Jan Fehler, a tenth and a half up right now, locking up through the final few corners now, coming out of turn 10. It's flat out to the line. Jan Fehler's going to come up to the line. He's going to go P2, a tenth off of Christian Sendel. His teammate behind him, though. Does Dean have an answer? No, Dean is into the pits, but what about the Alpha Tauri behind? Oh, Patrick's going quickest, but Kev Jennings is across line first. Kev Jennings validated, but Patrick was purple through the middle sector. Will it be a purple lap? Let's see, coming out of the final corner now, DRS wide open up to the line. It's a 57.9. It's good enough for P8. It's over a 10th improvement, but that is not a purple lap. He's still a quarter of a second off pole position of Christian Sendel, who just had an absolutely monster lap there on the track. Christian, though, is currently saving, coming back into the pits. He has enough time for one more run like the rest of them. Question is who will go. I believe everyone's coming back into the pits now. I don't believe anyone is really going to be on a push lap. No one looking to be on a push lap at this time. Mr. Hoffey actually will be on one now, so we'll keep an eye on him. I'm going to quickly go ahead and grab my coffee so my voice does not die during this race. And we're just going to ride on board with Mr. Hoffey as he completes this lap. As I return, I can see that Mr. Hoffey has decided to box at the end of his lap now. I don't believe anyone's on a lap. Fernandez looking like he just finished up on a lap there. Red Tox also on track, currently running in P12. He's got the DRS wide open. I'm assuming he's going to be on a lap right now. The Frenchman, no points to his name just yet. He hasn't exactly had a great result this season, but can today be the difference? We'll have to wait and see what he can do. Just 3/10 off a pole right now. What's his first sector time going to be? It's not really an improvement. Let's see if he can get some more time through the rest of his lap now, using all of that outside curb going into turn 6. You got to plant the power down. Just don't want to hit that outside curb there to unsettle the car. That's the thing. That outside curb, turn 6, at the inside of 7, really, two of them can really ruin your lap if you're not careful. Sokin going wide on the exit of 8 there, but he kept it valid. He's mashed his lap. He said he got a purple middle sector, but that might be a little bit of a visual glitch, as matching his sector still is going to put him 3/10 off a pole. But now the final quarter, oh, he loses the rear end, and Red Tox will not improve on this lap. Not sure if he's got enough fuel to improve at the end of the session. He might just come into the pits and decide to call it. But now we're into the meat of the session. What kind of, we'll see all these drivers currently on a fresh set of tires. Fernandez on a lap right now. He is not improving at this time. What about Deds? Deds going through the first few corners. He's not improving at the moment. We got a Renault coming out of the final corner. Is that by Blue? No. That is Lenny. Lenny on an out lap right now. Behind him, we got, I believe, Johan. No. But Johan is purple. He's matched his previous sector too. So we'll start with him, and then we'll work our way down through the field. Johan coming through the final 2 corners now. Will he improve on his P6 starting position? He has enough time to do one more lap. If he doesn't like this one, he's going to cross the line. He's going to stay 6th fastest. Behind him is one of the Alfa Romeos of Krunex trying to improve, and behind them, Jan Failer. A lot of drivers getting their tires up to temperature now. Was there any jumpers in the background of Patrick crossing the line? We got a Williams into the pits. That is Fernandez. His session is over. His teammate Deds, though, coming out of the final corner now. Fernandez retiring from the session. That is not surprising. Deds crossing the line does not improve on this lap, but he's got enough time for one more. A little behind him, we got Pedro Dean. Not improving now, but he's still got time for one more now with 4 seconds left on the clock. Anyone jumping up the board, drivers finishing their athletics. Christian Sendel even make it to the line in time. He will not. Christian Sendel does not get a chance to defend his lap. Lenny will cross the line and go provisional. Will get provisional pole with a 57.5. Not only does Christian is he not able to improve on his lap because he does not make it to the line in time. Right behind him, Lenny smashes his pole position lap. Does Jan Failer have an answer? Failer, purple through the middle sector. He's almost a 10th up on his lap, but he needs a whole 10th through the final sector. It's going to be very tricky. I don't think he'll have it now. Failer up to the line. He goes P2, barely beating Christian. Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking for the Alfa Romeo driver. He went first to third in the span of a few seconds. Crossing the line, Patrick does not improve. Behind him is that Mr. Hoffey. No, Hoffey's a little farther behind. It's Max AMG in the Ferrari across the line. He goes 15th fastest. He will not improve. Kev Jennings next across the line. Coming out of the final corner. He goes up to 12th. Not a bad lap. Now here comes Pedro Dean. Pedro Dean stays P10 behind him. Blue stays 7th. Next up the line is the other Ferrari, Mr. Hoffey. He holds position. Alfa Romeo of Red Tox is not improving. Behind him, or sorry, that Racing Point. Krunex does not improve. We got, it looks like Lenny's slow car because Lenny's session has finished. And that is the results. Tisu in the Red Bull comes to the pits and will start from the back of the grid. So that is your starting grid, ladies and gentlemen. With Dead still out on track, well, he's coming to the pits now, as he is not going to improve that final lap. But Lenny, with a 57.578 on a pole position. Once again, the Frenchman looking absolutely unstoppable. Another weekend in a row here, and Sakir with a lap that just absolutely blew the field away. Christian Sendel not able to make it to the line in time. As a result, he did not have a chance to answer Lenny's 57.5. So very unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver, who will start P3. Jan Fehler, great job to him jumping up to P2 there at the last moment. So he will start alongside Lenny. He will have, I believe he has the inside line for turn 1, which might be more optimal. I mean, going around the outside is helpful if you can brake later. But at the same time, there's always the chance you get squeezed off on the exit. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here now. As we look at our starting grid order, Lenny on pole position, Jan Fehler, P2. Christian Sendel down to P3 after that unfortunate error, I guess, he made in calculations. Fernandez, P4. And the Williams, his teammate, Deads, P5. Great qualifying for the Williams pair. P6 is Johan in the Haas, another driver with a really good starting position. By Blue down to P7. Patrick in P8. F1 Racer P9, the new driver here today, Birel Dean in P10, Mr. Hoffy P11, Kev Genix P12, Red Tox P13, Reges P14, Max AMG 15th, Crewnex in P16, and rounding out our 17-car grid today is Tisu in P17. So that is your starting grid for today, folks. Lenny on pole position, the Frenchman. I can hold on. Ironically, the top 3 are also the top 3 in the championship, with the order going Lenny, Christian, Fehler. Now, Fehler and Christian obviously swapping for the race, but that is the championship order. Lenny with a 37-point lead here, as this is a race going into race 5. So Lenny running away with it right now. Does Christian or Fehler have an answer today? We'll have to keep an eye on it. What a lap from Lenny indeed. That lap was phenomenal. I wish we could have hit a replay button and watched that back while we were waiting for him to go on the grid, because I'm sure that thing would have blown all of our minds away. 57.5. Phenomenal stuff. Probably one of the faster laps we'll see around this track. Now in the race, like I was saying, it is a whole 57 laps. That's why the drivers are able to do so many laps on the softs, because they don't wear that much in comparison, due to the fact it is 100%. And I expect to see drivers, I'll make some predictions now. Let's see. I expect to see drivers starting on the softs pit anywhere between laps 15 and 25. I'd say for the first 5 laps they go into hards, the second 5 they go into mediums. After that, I would assume they would be dead, and there's no point. And then anyone starting on the mediums, I don't think there'll be anyone on hards. We might get 1 or 2 guys gambling on hards. We also might get 1 or 2 guys outside the top 10 gambling on softs. Not sure. But now here we are. The cars are on the grid, getting their setups finalized. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tire compounds. There we go. No one on hards, like I thought. Top 11 all on softs. The Major Hoffy, the first guy with a free tire choice, selecting he wants softs. Tisu got disqualified on the grid. That's unfortunate. He's going to start on cold softs. That shouldn't be too bad. Starting from the back. I don't think he meant to start on softs, if I'm going to be honest, but we'll have to wait and see. Starting all the way back there on softs. Let's see what we can do. Crewnex on the mediums, as we can see. So 12 through 16 all on the reverse strategy, which is really good around this track. But the question is, can you keep up with the soft runners? If you can't keep up and you lose too much time, we'll have to wait and see. Now the driver's coming through a pretty short warm-up lap here, formation lap. Getting the tires up to temp. You don't want to warm them up too much and put too much wear on the tires, but still, you definitely want them up to temperature going into turn 1. And I looked like I was correct. Looks like Lenny has the outside for turn 1, so we'll have to see if Fehler can get alongside him in the braking zone and possibly go for a move for the lead, or can Christian Sendel, like Fernandez, get the jump off the line? We'll have to. It's all to be determined now here. 57 laps. It's going to be a long one, folks, to strap in. I shouldn't be able to lose my voice. I've done a lot longer races over in ACC, so we should be good. It should be very, very exciting. Christian Sendel and Fernandez actually just got disqualified from the formation lap, so the tires might be cold now on the grid. Not sure what happened there. Probably a little bit of miscommunication, but that might reset their tire temps, which could be disastrous going into turn 1 and 2. We'll have to keep an eye on their progress going through. Right now, as the drivers are on the grid right now, we'll see if we can wait for the camera angle to fix as Crewnex comes to the back and into his stall. He was the last one on track. Here we go. Lights are on right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And go, go, go. We are underway here. Lenny gets a really good launch off the line. Doesn't look like Jan Failer is going to be alongside him. Christian Sendel getting a pretty decent line. They're going 3 wide in the background. Failer alongside in the braking zone. He has the inside line. They're still side by side between him and Lenny. It's double file through the first 2 corners. Looks like no spinners. And Failer, it looks like Lenny had the quicker reaction, but Failer had the better traction off the line. And Failer into turn 1 takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Oh, we got a spinning Haas. That is Reges, having a horrible start to his race on the mediums. Looks like he didn't get him up to temp, and now he's all the way back down 17th out of DRS, a little battling farther back. See Failer up towards the front. Dean down to P9. They're 3 wide going through turn 6 and 7. Still double file. Ooh, F1 Racer going way wide there. Rejoining the track a little unsafe there, but he's made it work. Dean left him the space there. And these guys are double file in the background. It's like they're at a super speedway right now. Going through these corners, you got them double file. Kev Jennings and Max AMG in the background. Kev Jennings braking very late there. Racer leaving the door open. And it looks like the two of them to go side by side down the front straight now. They're going to single file now. Slipstream. Jan Failer leads the way. It is behind him is Lenny, followed by Christian, and then the Williams pair who've broken away. Up to 6, I believe, is a Ferrari. Is that Max AMG? No. Excuse me. Kev Jennings down the order. We have to wait until the timing board updates. Is that Macer Hoffey, perhaps? Yes, that is Macer Hoffey running 6. I'm not sure why I chose his car ghosted. A little bit of desync on my end. Johan looks like he is. We'll have to let the timing board reflect full. So all I can guarantee is Failer first, Lenny second, Christian second, third. There, it looks like it's fixing itself now. I believe the timing board is good. So let's take a look at who has gone where. Macer Hoffey up 5 positions off the line. So starting on the softs, absolutely phenomenal start from Macer Hoffey, going up 5 positions, still in DRS range of the top 5. Great job by the Ferrari. And yes, Reges bringing out his inner Mazda spin, unfortunately. Let's see if he can get back up towards the grid, though, as the drivers were battling a lot towards the back. But right now, Lenny PNR setting the fast lap 101.0 on the softs. These drivers flying at the start of the race, but everyone in a huge DRS train goes back from P1 all the way down to P16 with Reges, the only one not in it due to that early race spin. But we'll have to keep an eye on things as they go on. Now everyone in that DRS train, guys pretty close towards P9-10. Looks like Pedro Dean here, not too far behind by Blue. It's going to be a matter of who is going to conserve their ERS and save it for an overtake. Have to wait and see. That's a big lock up there from the McLaren going through turn number 6. Reges not really gaining on these guys, and I think it's because he doesn't have DRS, but there's a battle in the background. Looks like Sisu has gone around. Yes, he has. He went around in turn 6. Not sure if there's any contact with Max AMG, but he is now all the way towards the back on the softs. Very unfortunate to see the Red Bull driver have another not so great day. He's got 2 DNFs on the season. Hopefully we do not see 3. Might be able to get back in on the action if we get a safety car or something, but we'll have to keep an eye on that now. Looks like Patrick was gaining on Johan, but Dean is gaining a lot on By Blue. This is the battle for P9. The McLaren all on the rear diffuser of the Renault, but it's not close enough in the braking zone. And unfortunately, because By Blue has that DRS. Oh, but By Blue goes way too deep. By Blue locked up, and Dean is through the McLaren up to P9. The Renault losing out down to P10. But does the Renault have an answer now on the exit of turn 4 into 5? Looking at, you can see the Renault is just so close in the rear diffuser now. Dean 1.1 behind, but he got DRS because the detection point is really early. And Dean is going to stay in front, but now can he regain DRS on Patrick ahead? He's 1 second behind. The detection point is right before turn 9. It looks like that lockup might have just ruined it for him now. He's going to have to burn a lot of battery if he wants to get the DRS purple sector 2, but that does not matter. None of it matters if he can't get DRS now into the braking zone. I don't think he has it. I think Pedro Dean just lost DRS to the AlphaTauri in front as Lenny and Christian Seno go fastest overall. And as a result, yeah, the McLaren will not have a defense. Speaking of McLaren, the teammate of Jan Failer under pressure from Lenny, but holding station right now. Ooh, in the background, looks like F1 Racer making a move on the inside of By Blue. By Blue really struggling through turn 1 right now. Might be running a little bit more downforce or something, or less downforce, who knows. But F1 Racer is up to P10. By Blue down to P11. Not a great start for the Renault driver. We start up in about 5th or 6th position, if I remember correctly, or 6th position, if I remember correctly. But Racer on a little bit of a recovery drive after we saw him have an abysmal first few corners. Tisu, on the other hand, did come into pit off the soft tires on the mediums now, so the Red Bull driver on a fresh set of tires, but he's going to need a safety car if he wants to have a chance at anything this race. Meanwhile, Red Tux Max MG starting to fall off the back of this huge DRS train we have. Now it's only made up of 13 cars with Krunex at the back of it. We'll go up towards the front. Lenny really close to the McLaren. Will he go for the move this lap? He's moving to the right-hand side of the track. He's alongside Jan Fehler, and he's got a nose ahead into the braking zone. Leaves a little bit of space around the outside for Jan Fehler to brake later, but he does not. Lenny, the Frenchman, back up into first place of the race right now. Jan Fehler down to P2. Nice, easy overtake down the front straight using the DRS. He's still got almost a full battery, which is quite impressive. Jan Fehler using half of his battery while up front. Christian Sendel probably has most of a full battery as well. We got a yellow flag. That was a Max AMG. I believe he just also reset to track. That is not allowed. That's a no-no. He had us off through turns 3, I believe. Might have got too much curb or something and went spinning off or forgot to brake for turn 4. Who knows? With the Ferrari now, after having a decent start, his teammate having an amazing start, down to P16. So the Tifosi not too happy that one of the drivers outside of the points by a margin. That helps Reguez, who's now up to 15th. Now, does Jan Fehler have some kind of answer for Lenny this lap? No, he does not. Lenny starting to cruise away. He's got 6/10 to Jan Fehler, but not much going on. The fastest lap of the race right now is a minute .9 set by Christian Sendel. But he's got a bunch of the drivers around him with very similar lap times as they're all in that DRS train with him. Kev Jennings has lost DRS to Blue. Kev Jennings, the first of the medium runners. The medium runners not looking too strong in the early stages, but Kev Jennings needs to get back into DRS. Krunex falling off a little bit, so it has red tox. It is, however, a very tall order to be asked to keep up with the front runners right now. He's at a 101.4 on the medium, so it's a very, very quick lap, but the problem is he's being asked to keep up with guys on a much quicker tire that is not really worn right now. Speaking of worn, not sure what's going on with Jan Fehler right now, but he's under pressure from Christian Sendel. Now, does Jan just let Christian through early on? Normally you don't want to do that, but it looks like Christian's got a little bit more pace than Jan at this stage of the race. Will the Alfa Romeo driver make the move on his fellow countryman down the straight? He's within 3/10. That should be close enough if Christian decides to use the battery. But Jan, with much better straight line speed, really closing in on Lenny. He's using his battery right now, closing in on the Frenchman up ahead in the Renault, but the Renault holds station. Jan nowhere close enough really to make an overtake into turn 1. But he's still letting Lenny know that he's still here. Yeah, just fell off a little bit there as they both lack up slightly. And this race is far from over. Only on lap 8 out of 57. So definitely a long one right now. We've had plenty of action to start out the race, and we're only on lap 8. So some pretty good stuff so far. Blue has lost DRS now to F1 Racer. So he's another guy to fall victim of this absolutely magnificent pace from these front runners. I mean, they are flying right now. Let's keep an eye on their lap times right now. Let's look at Christian Sendel coming at the end of Sector 2. How far off is he from his best lap? 4/10 off, so they're still doing mid-101s, which is very, very quick pace. And it's looking really good if you're Christian Sendel right now. I mean, he just kind of has to sit there. No penalties so far. I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to keep it penalty-free. I mean, there's I'm trying to think of any spots to really get warnings, really. I guess you could say on the exit turn 8, maybe 9 and 10 if you brake too late. But like the first few corners, it's relatively straightforward. There's Jan Fehler locking up a little bit. We got Krunex retiring from the session. It's just decided he's had enough, I guess. He's our first retirement. It was a pit lane retirement. I don't think he had any damage. Not sure what went through his head, but he decided that he just doesn't want to race anymore, unfortunately. We're going to quickly stop and start so we can make sure we get notifications. So I didn't recall seeing that, but Krunex with 4 DNFs to his name. Very unfortunate to see have happened from the Alfa Romeo driver as his car is in the pits. Tissot, interesting, still on the lead lap, but he's getting reeled in by these race leaders as their pace is absolutely magnificent right now, which is flying right now here on lap 9 and pulling away Blue. 2 seconds off of F1 Racer now. Top 10 all in a DRS train right now. Not sure who has the most battery. Christian Sendel with almost his whole tank. Jan Fehler or Lenny. What kind of battery does Lenny have right now? He started to have to use some of his battery now that he's leading the train. Has Jan Fehler been able to recover some? A little bit. He was down to 55 when we last saw it, and that was at the beginning of the straight. So he's starting to recover his battery. Lenny's starting to burn some of it to keep his lead at this time. So drivers being really conservative, trying to just use that DRS here to pull them along. And Tissot, yeah, he's looking like he might get lapped here. I mean, he should be able to go longer, so he might get lapped here But he'll get some DRS. He'll be able to keep with some of these guys. Hopefully, I don't think he'll have the pace to really interfere with anyone, unfortunately. But he'll get lapped, but he'll be able to unlap himself really quickly, as it looks like Patrick has made a mistake. Patrick is off at the exit of turn 6. Not sure what happened to the AlphaTauri driver, but he was having such good races, running in the top 10. His tires are clearly way overheated right now. And a huge mistake for the AlphaTauri driver, as both him and his teammate now currently outside of the points. Very unfortunate. Patrick looking very quick so far. Now, with Lenny gaining on with Lenny gaming on TC, he'll get DRS soon, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. All right, now, Lenny, braking nice early, making the apex. Jan Failer almost going into the back of him. Not sure what these camera angles are at the moment, but Jan Failer right now, got really close in the braking zone, falling off a little bit now, 8/10 behind. Does Lenny have DRS? Lenny does not have DRS on the lap car just yet. That could be key right now. Lenny might decide to burn the battery. I mean, we've seen him pull some really good strategy calls before, but now coming through turn 7 now, he will definitely have DRS if TCU stays ahead in the Red Bull, which it looks like he will. We'll have to wait and see, or will Lenny not? Keep an eye on this. It looks like Lenny, TCU moving to the right, like he's trying to give it up. I think Lenny will get DRS, though. I don't think TCU slowed up in time. Looks like Lenny will have DRS now coming out of the final corner. Yes. So that will help him. Now will he try to move? He is disconnected. No, Tisu is not disconnected that I know of. If he did, then that is unfortunate. I didn't happen to see. I haven't seen some of the notification. I didn't happen to see if he disconnected. Let me just double check to see if he is racing. If he disconnected, then that is most unfortunate, and he will basically go down as a retirement. It shows him still racing for me, so that is, if he is reconnecting now, hopefully so. We'll have to keep an eye on the Red Bull. But more importantly, to keep an eye on the front runners right now. Lenny currently out in front, Jan Failure behind, Christian Sendel, P3. Fernandez and Deads right now, the two Brazilians having a very, very good day. Dead's best finish is 2 P7s, one last week at Hungary, the other in Austria. Fernandez, his best finish is P9. Two of them having a great day. Mr. Hoffey picks up the first time penalty. He's also lost DRS to Dead. So the top 5 now pulling away. There's the intervals timer. It's getting a little buggy at the moment. Yeah, Mr. Hoffey losing DRS to the Williams ahead, so that is huge right now. Johan trying to get a move on it now. Might want to try to clear the Ferrari up ahead. He gains a lot down the front straight, but not enough. And Johan stays P7. He's got Dean behind him in P8, F1 Racer P9. Now, Blue has really fallen off the pace. He's really just not had the race pace here today, it looks like. Down to P10. Hopefully, we can see him a little quicker on the slower compounded tire. But we'll have to keep an eye on that as we go on. Kev Jennings down 11th. He's got DRS on Blue again, so that's good for the AlphaTauri. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they're 4.4 off the leading pack. Behind them, Red Tox in 12th. The Racing Point driver looking to catch back up. We got a yellow flag. Oh, that's Kev Jennings! No, the other AlphaTauri spinning off where his teammate went off. Not sure what happened there, but looks like he pushed too much. Lost the rear end out of turn 6. I feel so bad. I feel like a commentator cursed the AlphaTauris today. It's very unfortunate. If Tisu could pull a Perez, that would be magnificent, but it looks like he's into the pits. And he has retired. That is a safety car. Did he just crash into the pit lane? I think he might have just intentionally crashed the pit lane there, folks. We're going to take a look now from Kev Jennings' POV. Shows him... yeah. Looks like Tisu intentionally crashed into the pit lane, which is not allowed at all. That has brought out a full-fledged safety car, so that will certainly group up the field, but drivers probably will not be happy that happens. That is just not what we want to see here in league racing. But this definitely puts a little cork on the works. It brings guys like Red Tox, Patrick, and Max AMG, guys who had really fallen off. And Regas, too. Remember, he spawned lap 1. Guys who really fell off the pace early on. All these guys get back into the field, but everyone on the alternative strategy kind of gets screwed over here now because they're either going to stay out on the mediums or you pit for hards like you see Red Tox, Patrick, and Max do. Now, the front runners, I mean, they can go to hard. You can go hards now to the end. Question is, will everyone decide to do that? Yeah, it looks like Sniper, we both commentary cursed the Red Bull today. So let's hopefully avoid that going forward now. All the front runners coming to the pits. I don't think anyone's going to stay out on track. Everyone going onto the hard tires. It is a free pit stop. Might as well use it. Now the question is, will Kevgenix and Regas come to the pits? I would assume so. I mean, everyone is getting a free pit stop. Might as well. Question is, who will get held now? Look at Jan Fehler. He's moving. He's still behind Lenny, so Lenny will come out P1. Jan Fehler. Ooh, but Christian Sendel got held. He's down to P4. Fernandez up to P3. But Fernandez held his teammate Deds. Deds is losing a ton of positions as a result. Also, Kevgenix and Regas both staying out on the mediums. So, Lenny keeps the lead. Jan Fehler P2. Fernandez up to P3. Kevgenix and Regas up to 4th and 5th as they did not pit. Christian Sendel losing a position to Fernandez as he got held. Maester Hoffrey in 7th, so he's not really gained per se. Johan, P8. F1 Racer, P9. Pedro Dean, who was somewhat held by Jan Fehler, but not held as much as Deds did by his teammate. So Williams really, the Williams team not having a good double stack at all, and as a result, Deds losing out horribly. The Brazilian is having a good race, but let's see what he can do. He's got some really good pace. He might be able to claw his way through the field. And is there a viewer curse? There might be. I mean, there truly might be. I mean, we're only on here on lap 15 out of 57. We're barely a quarter of the way done. I think anything can happen at this point. So, I'd say viewer curse is definitely possible. But now, the Alpha Towers, interestingly enough, looking pretty good. They've looked, they were looking all right before. They both made mistakes, but they're back into it. By Blue, this gives him a second chance. We saw him really struggling on those softs after the first few laps. Let's see what he can do if he's got that kind of pace that we saw. Look at the overall position change. See By Blue down 6 position. Dez down 6, but Dez got held. By Blue's kind of lost more positions due to just not having pace on the softs at the moment. Patrick spinning, lost positions. Big gainers are Regas and Kevgenix, who did not come in and pit yet. Maester Hoffrey up 4 positions. We saw him have that wonderful start, but that time penalty attached to his name could really hurt him if we just see a huge DRS train form. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll see how the hards work compared to these mediums that are on Kevgenix and Regas. Now we know the front 3, they just showed a little bit more raw pace than the 2 behind. But what we don't know is the tire difference between the mediums and the hards at this stage. 16 laps in, the mediums probably around 30-some% wear, but still, they should still have plenty of life in them. So, keep an eye on that. A little bit of gaps forming in the field with the safety car in this lap, so we'll be green flags very shortly. Next, MTS caught up to the field, so no point in holding us up. It's all up to Lenny's discretion now on when he decides to go. Lap 16 out of 51. Tires all getting warmed up here as we wait to go green. The sound of the engines is very nice here. And under the lights, Lenny, there he goes. He's going right before the braking point of turn 9, and he is underway. We are back underway here, folks, in Sakir. Lenny with a great launch off the line. Jan Fehler falling off a little bit. Fernandez doing good, but Kevgenix hot on the heels of the Brazilian up ahead. I don't believe everyone really got caught in that. Maybe F1 Racer. He's looking like he's going to have to defend from BRL. Dean going up the inside, trying to take the position away from the Mercedes, locking up a little bit. They're side by side through turn 1. F1 Racer keeping it around the outside and holds onto the position a little farther back. By Blue trying to find a way around Red Tox, but there's no way through turns 1 and 2. Turn 4, not really a good overtaking spot because of the optimal line. But now, can anyone make an overtake down the back straight? That is close to Dean, but almost goes to the back of his fellow countryman there, but keeps it out of his rear diffuser just enough. Deds showing some pace there towards the back. Now interesting, Kevgenix and Regas not too far back. Patrick picking up a 3-second time penalty. I think that's his second one of the day. He's up to 8 seconds, so he might have suspended into the pits before when everyone pitted. But Christian Sando looking to get a move on. He wants to clear these two guys on the mediums. Fernandez almost 9/10 behind Jan Fehler. So this could become a 2-horse race if they're not careful. Christian Sando using the battery. No DRS on this lap or the next lap. Christian Sando going to the right-hand side of the track. And he is currently ahead of Regas and under the brakes. Will Regas brake deeper? No, he will not. Christian Sendel will take the position away. Sendel up to P5. Regas down to P6. That is 1 down, 1 to go for Christian when it comes to clearing the medium runners. But look at this. Fernandez has broken DRS to Kevgenix. It's not allowed until this time at next lap. But this is huge. If the AlphaTauri loses DRS, that's going to really hurt Christian Sendel behind and literally everyone else in the field. A little farther back, though, Blue all over that rear bumper of Red Tox once again, but not close enough to make a move stick at this time. But the top three really starting to run away on the hard compounded tire. The medium is just not really working like they probably should. Capgenics really needs a miracle here. He needs to find that extra 10th and to get back in DRS range of the guys up ahead. And if he wants to even have a chance, I mean, he still has to pit. DRS enabled this lap, so they'll get DRS down the back straight. See the detection point on the mini-map through turn 3. That's where he needs to be within a second. Can he do it? It's not looking likely. He hasn't really gained down the straight. I don't think he's really using much of his battery. And now he will not be in range by the looks of it. Capgenics losing DRS. Blue, meanwhile, going, I believe, up the inside of Red Tox through turns 1 and 2. He's still got the inside line for turn 4 now. And Blue up to P12. Red Tox down to P13. In the background now, Christian Sendel going up the inside of Capgenics through turn number 6. Capgenics leaving plenty of space, hitting the outside curb, slowing up a little. And Christian Sendel up to P4, but he's 1.8 behind Fernandez. So he really has to turn on the jet engine now. If he wants to catch up, he's got to go up to mode 11 and just blast away. He's going to probably have to use more battery and fuel than he wants to. But he needs to get DRS back on the front 3. Otherwise, his chance of a podium could be ruined so far early on in the race. Now, down the front straight here, Christian Sendel, only 1 point behind. He's not gaining, so let's keep an eye on that. Patrick a little farther back. He's getting on Red Tox. He looks like he's got the pace advantage down the front straight on the racing point. Will he dive up to the inside? We'll have to wait and see. Patrick really close. Yes, he swings to the right-hand side of the track. Goes to brake later, but he was not alongside. There's no room for the overtake. Patrick will stay behind this time around. So Patrick stuck in P4 at this time. Johan a little farther up the road, right behind Maestro Hoffy. Close once again, but Maestro Hoffy really close behind Johan's teammate in Reges. So two medium runners have not been passed by anyone else in the field besides Christian Sendel. So their pace is good, but the pace of the top 3 right now is just slightly better, with Lenny kind of just pulling along Failer and Fernandez. Not sure how their batteries are looking right now, but I'm assuming they're able to save it now that they have DRS up at the front. Lenny leading the way, everyone else in the whole DRS train. Red Tox almost losing it, but you can see there, Johan blocking him. Oh, losing the rear end a little bit. That's going to compromise his run down the main straight all the way down to F1 Racer, gaining a little bit, but Johan using that battery to stay up ahead. Now Maestro Hoffy going to go to the inside of Reges, tries to brake later. He does have the corner. Those two wheel banging just a little bit there. You can see they're still side by side through turns 2, and Reges says no, I will have that position back. But Maestro Hoffy up the inside of turn 4, and he will have the position. Now Johan trying to make the move on his teammate along with F1 Racer. Reges getting absolutely mugged here. He's going to lose 3 positions in 2 corners. Reges dropping from P6 all the way down to P9. With a triple overtake being done on him. Not what you want to see happen if you're on that Haas car right now on those older tires. But the front 3 still 2.4 now ahead of Christian Sendel. So they're running away with this right now. Sendel does not have an answer. Maestro Hoffy also has lost DRS to Capgenics at this moment. Reges brakes very late. He breaks the 50-meter board. Goes very wide. Slightly losing the rear end out of turn 9 and 10. Can he keep it in a straight line? Yes, he will. But he will lose another 3 positions there after that costly mistake. The Haas driver just going to the back right now. Not looking good. Try to go to the inside of Blue there, but there's nothing looking right there. Reges, the race really falling apart at this moment. His the other driver on the same stride, Capgenics, meanwhile, keeping with Christian Sendel. So that's good news if you're the AlphaTauri team, but he still has to pit, so he's going to have to hope for some kind of safety car or something. Otherwise, his race will be down the drain. But up towards the front right now, it's all Lenny, the Frenchman, leading the way, lap 22 out of 57, leading from Jan Failer and Fernandez. Fernandez having a phenomenal day, the Brazilian. How about that? He has 2 points on the season, both from Great Britain, though he's out of battery. Interesting. He's used all of his battery. Jan Failer had 47%. Lenny 7. So Lenny's pace is just absolutely magnificent. He's trying to drop the drivers behind, really pushing at this stage. Fernandez barely keeping with the guys up ahead. He doesn't have any battery to make an overtake on Unfailure, but he's just keeping with. Now Regas losing position to Red Tox. They're going to go side by side. Red Tox up the inside, and Regas down to 13th. Red Tox up to 12th. Those medium tires have seen much better days. They have clearly way worse than the hards at this stage. Yeah, back up talking about the front, though. Fernandez on track for his best finish of the season. If he can just hang on to the front two. If he loses contact with them, it might be a problem, because running out of ERS around this track, where you're mostly on throttle for the lap, is going to be disastrous. So we're hoping here in the commentary box that he doesn't, as Regas loses another position out to Patrick. Are they side by side? Yeah, they're side by side going through turns 7 and 8. Both the drivers leaving just enough space for each other. Regas regaining the position by going around the outside. Both of them using battery, but it looks like Patrick will use a little bit more and have the position now going into turn number 9. Not sure if he will get DRS down the straight. Regas running into the rear diffuser of Patrick a little bit, though. Not looking good now. Patrick will not have DRS, though, right now. Up towards the front, though. Johan making the move stick on Maester Hoffy down the front straight. Now back to the battle here. They're going to go. Are they going 3 wide? No. Max AMG looking to make a double overtake. He does. Max AMG in the Ferrari doing a double overtake, but Regas getting a better drive out of turn 1 through turns 2, 3 now. But Max AMG with the inside line for turn 4. Wow, look at that. Regas still trying to hook it around the outside, but it looks like Max will get the run through the corner, but he won't get the DRS down the straight now. That's going to leave him vulnerable to Patrick. Patrick going up the inside of Regas. Will he go up the inside of Max as well? No, but Patrick going too deep now. Regas trying to go for the switchback. They're going to go side by side through 7 and 8 once again. Patrick on the inside, though, this time, looking like he's going to have the position this time for good. Regas down to the back in 15th on those old medium tires. Patrick up to 14th. Well, Patrick back in 14th. Max up 2 positions, up to 13th position. Speaking of gaps, Fernandez has lost DRS to Jan Failure, but interestingly enough, he's not lost time to Christian Sendel. Christian's still 2.4, 2.5 behind, as Regas attacking Patrick through turn 1 once again. They're side by side. They're giving us plenty of action from the back of the field, and Regas going around the outside, but Patrick trying to stick his nose up the inside of turn 4 now. Now through turn 5. Ooh, that's Red Tox off. The Racing Point driver off and around out of turn number 4. And now looking Patrick going around the outside. He's running out of battery while defending from Regas here. Defending a lot more than he probably wants to, and Patrick holds on to the position this time, but like I was saying, Fernandez really dropping off now. He doesn't have any battery. You see 5% down in the bottom right. So he's completely losing time every lap to the cars up ahead, as he just doesn't have that battery power to give him the straight line speed that he needs at this stage of the race. Christian Sendel slowly starting to reel him in along with the rest of the field. Jan Failure, meanwhile, only half a second behind Lendy. He's looking really quick at this stage, but you know, we're close to the halfway point now. Lap 26 out of 57. So 29 laps to go here. Oh, no, 31, excuse me. My math is a little wrong there. And 31 laps to go here in Sakir. Looking through, Kev Jennings really gaining on Christian Sendel at the moment. Unlike Regas, Kev Jennings is making those medium tires work. He's got a little bit more life in them, thanks to the safety car. So hopefully the AlphaTauri driver pulled a master plan. I mean, if we get a later safety car in the race before he comes in and pits for his mandatory pit stop, everyone else would probably come in for softs. So why not? I mean, you'll have a 2 fresher compound advantage over the hards. And so it makes sense to pit, and he'll be sitting in a nice spot in net P5. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now a little farther back, as this DRS trying, it's kind of making it hard to overtake. The only real overtaking opportunities are for guys who are sitting second, and the first guys with DRS. So like the guy leading the train obviously does not have DRS. The guy behind does. That's probably your best overtaking opportunities. The guy sitting in third in the train has to deal with the guy in front having DRS as well. So it's just really not. It's not ideal here as we're going on to lap 27. For the over. Actually, this is now 31 to go because you have to include this lap. Johan here, kind of stuck in P6. You know, the Haas team having a good result with him. He's looking for his first points of the season. So some notable guys right now in the top 10, getting more points than they have to their name at the moment, would be Fernandez. He only has 2 to his name. He's looking to get a lot more, sitting P3 right now. Let's see, Kev Jennings, he's had a few points. Kev Jennings is 23. and he's up into P5, so he's looking to give himself 50% more. Johan does not have any points at all this season. He's looking for his first points, and running in P6 right now would give him a lot. He's actually gaining a lot on Kev Jennings, so he might have just jinxed what I said, but he's not really gaining any more, as it looks like Kev Jennings has responded with a little bit of battery uses. Really close. Oh, Kev Jennings goes into the back of Christian Sendel. That sends the Alfa Romeo line. The AlphaTauri losing an end plate. And up 2 positions now to Johan and Maestro Hoffy. So that really pushed Christian Sendel wide, cost him some time. And it's going to cost even more time to Kev Jennings. He's completely missing an end plate. He's going to lose 2 positions. Probably get swamped by F1 Racer as well. Racer looking to go around the outside. Kev Jennings missing his braking point and losing positions right now. You can see there the AlphaTauri driver, who was looking for some good points today, down to P8, looking like he's going to lose more positions, another position, sorry, to the McLaren of BRL Dean, and a position to Deads. So Kev Jennings, who was looking so good on those medium tires, losing an end plate, and now losing a position to By Blue. He's going to be at the back of that DRS train that he was in. Will he be able to hold on, or will he come in and pit immediately? We'll have to wait and see now, as he's been absolutely swamped by, it looks like 7 cars in the span of a lap. That's why you just got to watch your braking point. But up at it says now, Dean going to the right-hand side of the track. He's going to have the move on F1 Racer before the braking zone. Oh, braking a little late there, going into the side of Maestro Hoffy. Dean going a little late on the brakes to keep the position of F1 Racer. That's going to open up the door around the outside of F1 Racer. Will Racer make the move? No, he will not, as Red Tox is into the pits and has retired from the session. He's the 3rd guy to retire from the race. And now Dean holding on to 7th right now. Maestro Hoffy in 6th. Red Tox, our 3rd retirement in the racing point. But yes, unfortunate to see Kev Jennings have the broken wings. Almost lost DRS to By Blue up ahead. If he loses it, then he might as well just come in and pit. No point in really pushing those tires. I mean, he can push for a few more laps and put on the softs, but we'll have to wait and see what the AlphaTauri team decides for him to do. But up at the front, Jan Fehler's looking really close to Lenny previously, but he's not really close enough at this time. Fernandez running in no man's land in P3 right now, and Christian Sendel in P4. He's actually broken DRS to Johan. And now Deads making the move on F1 Racer down the straight. You see these guys trying to break toe, and Deads up to P8. And F1 Racer, there he is. There's Deads there, and F1 Racer down to P9. Deads starting to claw back after getting held in the pits. He was at P11 on the restart. Up 3 positions since then. And the Brazilian really taking opportunities of drivers, or taking advantage of opportunities when drivers make mistakes up ahead, as he's up into P8 and on track for some decent points up again. But to continue what I was saying before I got unfortunately interrupted, drivers currently on track for some points. Maestro Hoffy has 0 points on the season. He's currently in 6th. Johan 0 points, currently in 5th. So the 2 of them having a really good day. Fernandez only have 2 points in his name. So the 3 guys in the top 6 combined for 2 points right now to their current totals. And towards the back though, it looks like Patrick under threat from Max AMG. Max AMG looking to probably make a move down the front straight. So 3 guys in the top 6 do not have 8 points. Dean, new as Jan Fehler makes a move into turn 1 down the main straight. Jan Fehler taking the lead from Lenny, swapping positions. Lenny looking to go around the outside though into turn 4 now to 5. But Jan Fehler has the position. It looks like it might be done and dusted, but we'll let you have an answer now down the back straight. He will have the DRS, unlike Jan, but Lenny stays behind. Jan Fehler into the lead of the race once again. The McLaren biding his time, making the move down the front straight and taking the lead. Kev Jennings now onto softs and fixing his front wing. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to catch up to the field. We'll see what the AlphaTauri driver can do in fresh air. But like I was saying, 7 guys in the top 7, or 4 guys in the top 7 do not have points, one of them being Dean. Deads has 12 points to his name, running P8. F1 Racer, I believe, has a nice chunk. Yes, he's got 18, so he's got some points already. And By Blue has 3. So a lot of drivers who don't have too many points currently looking to get a nice haul today. But you see Jan Fehler barely ahead of Lenny into the braking zone. He's got the pace though right now. And the German driver is overtaking the Frenchman at this point in the race. They're still 2.8 ahead. It's not much battling that didn't really allow Fernandez to catch back up. So Maestro Hoffy picks up another time penalty. He's up to 6 seconds today. That's going to really hurt him after getting that really good start, going up to P6 and now down the order. So Hoffy really needs to keep it clean. But interesting thing though, Johan losing DRS to Christian Sendel. So a whole other tray is formed behind him. You got several drivers in clean air, really doing the best they can. I expect to see a purple lap from Kevgenix coming up on those softs. But Rega is interesting. Lost a few more positions. He lost positions to Max and Patrick. No, he didn't lose positions. Sorry, he's been behind them. They're a little 3-car group, 4.2 off of Blue. So they need to close back in us. But both Max and Patrick have penalties, which will really hurt their chances of getting penalties. Also, make sure you're having 6 seconds penalties and the DRS train behind him. He's going to lose out to all the drivers behind him, so that's really not good. So look, you see there, he's all on that rear diffuser of Johan. Oh, in the background, Blue looking to go up the inside of F1 Racer. Kevgenix picking up a time penalty. Blue not able to make the move on F1 Racer through turn 1 and turn 2 this time around. Let's see if right on board with him. Blue gets a good run. He's kind of just stuck at the back of this train. There's really not a whole lot you can do unless the driver in front makes a small mistake. And even then, you really just got to do what you can. There's Kevgenix purple lap, a 1 minute .3. That is the kind of pace we would expect on fresh softs here in Tier 1. But he's kind of in the back now, not really much working. Now, these hards should last the end of the race on everyone who's on him. Kevgenix, the question is, will he have enough of a pace advantage to run down the likes of maybe Regas or Max or Patrick? I mean, it's a much taller order to catch up to everyone else because they will certainly have a lot of pace at this stage. Now, speaking of pace, Lenny kind of sitting behind Jan Failure right now, biding his time, saving the battery. Right now, letting Jan kind of pull him along as we go on. We're in lap 34 now, so lots of time to go. Plenty of time to save battery. As we move on, Lenny sitting in P2 behind Failure. As Max AMG and Regas battling out through turn 1. Regas trying to make a move. He's still on those mediums, so he does have to pit still. That Haas is the only driver who has not pitted yet today. As Kevgenix goes even factor, Regas picking up a time penalty. That does not help his Haas out today. And Kevgenix starting to really close in on the guys. He gained over a second that lap to these guys here we see battling towards the back. So he's gaining a lot right now. The question is, will he keep gaining throughout the stint, and will it be enough to maybe salvage something? We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Johan did get overtaken by Mr. Hoffel. He did miss that move, unfortunately, but the Ferrari up to P5 trying to break away from the cars. He's going to have to make 6 seconds if he wants to hold on to this position, which does not look likely at this time. You can see Johan has had really good pace, but Mr. Hoffel, his red blinking light there, he's out of battery to use. So is a lot of other drivers, but Mr. Hoffel needs it the most. As there's Regas into the pit, speeds into the pit lane. But he's going to get off of those mediums, put on a fresh set of softs. And now is his time to really try to light up time board, maybe, at least deny the fastest lap to Kevgenix at this point. We'll have to wait and see what he does in the Haas. So as Kevgenix there goes, does a minute flat. Kevgenix really flying at the back right now. I mean, you look at the likes of Jan Failure and Lenny probably doing 1 minute something, maybe 101s. So he's catching, but look at that. He's still 18.5 off of Max AMG. And, I mean, there's 22 laps to go at the end of this lap. So there's time for him to catch up, but he's still going to have to catch at almost a second lap. He really needs a safety car at this point in time. Keep an eye on this battle here. Johan holding on to P6 right now. It looks like he's not able to really get on the rear end of Mr. Hoffel. It looks like Hoffel's just got a little bit of better pace. As you can see, Pedro Dean behind, and the McLaren does not have any ERS either. So he's not really able to attack the Haas in front and stay, but he's really, look at that, he's just pushing him through turn 1. The Brazilian looking mighty quick there with another fellow countryman behind. So the Brazilians all having a good day today, with Dean being our new runner and Deds and Fernandez running P3 and P8. Deds a little farther up until he got held. Kevgenix once again going up towards the front. And yes, we're glad to have you back, Remco, watching. So as we continue on, and now Max AMG, 2 times he was really close on Patrick through the corner. Oh, and he loses the rear end. Looks like he put the power down too early, and the Ferrari goes spinning, kind of copying the former driver in that seat of Sebastian Vettel. Well, actually, that's, I guess, the 16 car, so that'd be Leclerc, so maybe not Vettel, but still, Max AMG doing his best Spinella impression, and Max falling off, pretty far off from Patrick right now. And probably fall into the clutches of Kevgenix soon. Very, very unfortunate. As we go on now, lap 37. Jan Failure has got a half a second to Lenny PNR behind Fernandez, still keeping a nice 2-second buffer to Christian Sendel. So Fernandez really having a, I wouldn't say a boring race, but a kind of just a really hard race per se. I mean, he's in clean air. So now he can kind of drive at his own pace, but he's having to push because he's gotta keep a gap behind him, to ensure that Christian can't catch up. But he also doesn't want to fall off the guys in front, and it's just kind of like one of those things where it's a real mental game for the Williams. Currently hanging on to that final podium spot would be by far his best finish of the season, and would definitely be would make him very, very happy. So we'll have to see what he can do now. Lap 38, as the leaders have crossed the line, so is Fernandez holding on at this stage. Christian Senna looking to get some points. I mean, he's currently second in the championship. He'd go down to third most likely to Jan Fehler if the race ended at this point. Christian looking to claw back a little bit, as he does not want to see his championship rivals get too far away. Finding Mr. Hoffey having a really good drive right now in the Ferrari, the number 28 Ferrari. Having a good drive so far. Hoffey in P5, up 6 position. Regas does a 59.8. Really probably used a lot of his battery that lap, but hey, it was a purple lap. Who cares? Haas trying to salvage something out of this race. So him and Kev Jedix tried to do the strategy of just staying out longer on the mediums, not pitting under the safety car, and just seeing what they could do, hoping for a later safety car in the race. But it looks like we're not seeing that. Now the softs, yes, they are faster, but I think the gap is just a little too big for them to make up. I mean, it's still plenty of time left, but it's going to be a miracle. Lenny really gaining on Jan Fehler, goes to within 2/10 into the braking zone, but it's just not close enough this time around. You got to. What I've been told is if you're not within 6 tenths of the car ahead into the brake or onto the straight, you're not really going to get much slipstream. So you can see here he's going to have slipstream down the straight, but these cars are just not getting as much slip as you would think, and not really getting the overspeed that they'd like. I mean, yeah, they can get him into the braking zone, but it's not as powerful as these drivers probably would want. And so it's making overtaking very hard. In the background, though, Blue looking to make a move on F1 Racer. He's literally on the diffuser of that Mercedes. He wants to make the move. But with F1 Racer having the DRS, it's just making it so hard for the Renault driver to make a move on the Mercedes up at, sliding a bit out of the corner. That's not going to help his chances of making a move this lap. That 22 Renault looking good so far, but just not. He just doesn't have, it's like no one's making the mistake in that train up ahead, which is really, probably frustrating him a bit. Because he's stuck at the back. He's got the pace, because he's got a little bit of pace advantage maybe over some of these guys, but there's not much he can do. But at the front of the train, though, Johan going up the inside of Maestro Hoffey, locking up the tires, and Johan is through Maestro Hoffey, not able to pull a switchback. Looks like now under pressure from Deads as well. And it looks like Maestro Hoffey will drop to P6. Johan up to P5, and yes, I am commentating. This is Fizzymon. I am in the booth today, and they're Dead's looking to make a move on Maestro Hoffey. He's going to go up the inside, but back out of it out of the last second. Really not much you can do through turn 6 unless you're all the way onside. It's not heavy enough of a braking zone. And Maestro Hoffey will hold on to P6, but you can see there Dead's looking very racy behind. He wants to clear the Ferrari. Looks like he definitely has a pace advantage over the car ahead. And Dead's still on that sort of a recovery drive. Did he clear Dean? It looks like he did get Dean. I'm pretty sure he was behind at some point. So Dead's up to P7, clearing the McLaren of Dean behind him. Up towards the front, Lenny not close enough to make the move on Jan Fehler this time, braking a little earlier, giving him the room. But now down the front straight will Dead's make the move on Maestro Hoffey. He's going to go to the right-hand side of the track. Dead's looking to brake later, throws a dummy, and cannot make the move stick. Oh, but Dead's left the door open for Dean. Dean trying to brake later, but not able to because Dean saw Dead's throw the dummy. Dead's broke probably a little too late. Dean tried to go up the inside, but could not make it to. Just enough space was left, and he's just going to have to sit behind for another lap as there's just really nowhere to overtake. Ramco, I remember. So you were in the F2 race yesterday. That was a lot of fun. That is for sure. We'll look to see if we can get an official stream going for that next week. We're just having a little bit of technical issues in that regards, and hopefully we'll be able to broadcast that on Saturdays as well. Yes, glad to have you watching here. Now back up towards the front, Lenny, 3/10 behind Jan Fehler. Is this the lap he's going to go for move? He's 2/10 now. And, gets within 2/10 that time, so a 1/10 and a half, but he just backs out. I think he's just biding his time and waiting, hoping that Jan's going to run out of battery so he can make the move and then just fly away. I mean, that's what I would do if I was him, but we'll have to wait and see. Lenny doing the best game. These two guys have actually pulled a second on Fernandez, who has not lost any time to Christian Senna of the guys behind. The guys up front absolutely flying right now and pulling away from the rest of the field. Their pace on a completely different level to the rest of the field. Just absolutely dominant performance. It's a two-horse race between the two of them. Who will come out on top? We'll have to wait and see. Both cars in-game are powered by the Renault engine. So even though it makes no difference in equal cars, but still something interesting to note. You know, Williams in P3, and Christian Sendel P4. There's Johan in P5 leading that 6-car train from P5 down to P11. With Maester Hoff currently the biggest loser. Or that's P5 down to P10, excuse me. Maester Hoff the biggest loser with 6 seconds of time penalty. So no matter what, at this stage, he will lose all those positions, but he will finish P10 because he does have... Right now, I believe he's got 6 seconds to Patrick behind. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Kev Jennings, meanwhile, has caught up to Max AMG finally, the AlphaTauri, on those fresh sauce. Well, not really fresh anymore. They're 10 laps old, but they're still probably pretty quick at this stage. Lap 43 out of 57, Max AMG moving over to go defensive, but it looks like Kev Jennings is just going to have the overspeed, and the AlphaTauri is through and up to P12. Next on the list is his teammate, 9.6 seconds up the road. Back up towards that train, though, Mr. Hoffy. 3 tenths behind Johan there down the back straight, but just nowhere like really to go. It's just a waiting game here, it seems, for these drivers. I mean, you can do good as Blue picks up a 3-second time penalty. That is definitely a little bit of a twist. That will hurt his chances of improving from P10. He should be able to get P9, assuming he stays where he's at because of Mr. Hoffy's 6 seconds, but that certainly hurts his chances of improving from anywhere higher than that. So everyone from P10 onwards has a time penalty with varying seconds. Patrick with 8 seconds because he spent in the pits. Mr. Hoffy trying to go up the inside of Johan, but nothing going on there. As you can see behind him, Deads having to defend a little bit from Dean. So the McLaren trying to get back through on his fellow countrymen, but nothing really going. Turn 4 again, like we've been saying, it's not really a good overtaking zone because you come in at turn 1. You swing to the left for turn 2, you're all the way to the right for turn 3, then you swing all the way back out to the left to take as much of a straight line through turn 4 as you can, and because you're moving left, right, left, there's just nowhere to go. You can't really send it up the inside because you both will lose too much time, and these guys do not want to lose to the rest of the guys ahead because that will completely ruin their chances of improving. So you really need to make a move through turn 1. You could do it through turn 9 theoretically, but if you don't do it before the detection point, it's all going to be for nothing as you won't really get DRS per se. Unless while you're in the train like this. But still, lap 45 now. Dead's really getting on Maester Hoffy. Trying to find a move. Oh, he's going to go up the inside. Oh, he throws the dummy. Causes Maester Hoffy to break a little late on Johan. Dead's really trying to spice things up. Trying to go left, right. But he can't catch the Ferrari napping. The Ferrari trying to send it late up the inside of the Frenchman of Johan. Doesn't work. Dead's picking up a 3-second time penalty. That'll hurt the Brazilian's chances now as he really needs to clear Maester Hoffy. Weaving a little bit in the background. Keep trying to throw out those dummies, but the Williams driver not able to make anything work at this stage. His teammate, meanwhile, slowly getting reeled in by Christian Sendel up ahead. Christian only 1.6 behind him. You can see if we ride on board with him. He's very, very close to the Williams and getting into DRS range. A lot closer than he has been. You see he's got almost an empty battery, just enough, but the two of them similar battery levels right now, not able to do much. Lenny up ahead, though, was within 2 tenths there, but not close enough. Max AMG picking up another time penalty. He's now 2.3 behind Kev Jennings, and with 6 seconds to his name. Not what he wants to have happen right now. Looking at the leaders, at this stage, Lenny, half second behind Jan as they go through the first few corners, but then he claws it all back in the DRS. Gets to within a quarter of a second, so gaining quarter second down the back straight, but then losing a little bit into turn at 6 and 7. You know, getting a little bit of understeer because of the dirty air. But not much working for the Frenchman at the moment. He's kind of just sitting behind. Let's look at his ERS bat. He's got a full tank. Jan Failure actually with 80%, so he's got plenty to defend with here as we come to 11 to go once they cross the line. It'll be lap 47 out of 57. So this battling here might start to kick off. You know, there goes Lenny. He's within 4 tenths now. He's within 3 tenths down the front straight. Is he gaining enough to make the move now? He's still sitting behind, biding his time. Lenny staying in P2 this time around. Let's go a little farther back. Mr. Hoffy has as much of a gap behind him as he does ahead of him. So nothing really working for the Ferrari driver at this point either. Oh, Dean and F1 Racer in the background going side by side. F1 Racer trying to go up the inside of Dean. Dean holding on to the position, but will that leave F1 Racer vulnerable to By Blue? It does a little bit, but the Renault driver cannot find a way around this time around. Will he get the overspeed though? Down the back straight, possibly into turn 6, and he's not really close enough to make a lunge or anything. And these drivers once again holding position. Meanwhile, Kev Jennings not really gaining enough at the back. So Kev Jennings having an unfortunate race result. He's really not getting that safety car that he needs to catch back up to the field after staying out on the mediums, taking a gamble, and it did not pay off at this stage. Lap 48, now 10 to go. Expecting to see something happen. We're expecting to see Lenny make a move soon in these coming laps. And yeah, it's surprising, but it's also not surprising. These drivers are some of the best ones out there right now on the PC platform. And these guys they know how to save their battery and make it work, but they also know how to be really fast at the same time. And these guys know that if you drain your battery here, you're going to be left as a sitting duck if you don't have DRS, and you need that to defend. So these guys pulling mind games right now with each other, waiting to see who pulls the trigger first. Christian Sandel picking up a 3-second time penalty. Oh no! Looks like the German driver's chances of possibly getting a podium might have just gone down the drain. He was now 1.9 behind Fernandez. He was 1.6 at times. But the Brazilian now who does not have a time penalty is surely guaranteed his best result of the season at this stage. I mean, he's got the two of them are almost over 4 seconds ahead of Johan in that huge train behind. So they're kind of safe right now. Lenny, though, down the front straight. Will he make a move into turn 1 this time? No, he will not. What about towards the train? There's Johan. Going to go on board with By Blue, actually. Down the main straight. He's gaining on F1 Racer right now. He's using all of his battery. He's going to go to the right-hand side of the track. Will he dive up the inside? He's alongside the Mercedes. Ooh, makes a little bit of contact with Dean. That's going to slow him up a bit. He's still side by side through turns 2. He's gone on the right-hand side. Got the inside line, breaking deeper into turn 4 now. He's still got the Mercedes on his outside. It's going to be a drag race down the back stretch, but the Frenchman is through. There's a yellow flag down the main straight as Max AMG has retired from the race in the pits. That is another driver. He's our 4th retirement of the day. And By Blue up to P9 for now. F1 Racer down to P10, but By Blue does have that time penalty, which will give the position back to Racer. While they battled, they were still able to keep DRS on Dean up ahead. That's huge, but here goes Lenny. Lenny was within 2/10 that time around. Thought he was possibly going to go for a move there under braking, but he did side against that this time around. Christian Sandel now 1.4 behind Fernandez. He's close half a second up on the last 2 laps on the Brazilian up ahead. He's really pushing down, but not much going right now. You can see a little farther back. Maestro Offie still holding station behind Johan. He's got some fans for Johan. That's what we like to see. Johan doing very good so far, up into P5. He needs to close 1.7 seconds on Christian, but with how things are folding right now, it does not look likely. So he's kind of just stuck there in P5, pulling the train along. He's managing his battery really well, though. He's been at the front of this train for well over 10 laps now, and he's got 48. Well, that's Mr. Hoffey, but he's got a nice hump. But Johan there still got a little bit left. His light hasn't really been blinking, so it's been pretty good. But now here goes Lenny. Lenny gaining. There he goes. He switched to the right-hand side of the track. This is for the lead of the race. Jan Fehler breaks later to defend. They're side by side through turn 1. Fehler, though, goes around the outside, holds onto the position, and keeps the lead of the race. Lap 51, Lenny has decided now is the time to attack Fehler. Now down the back stretch, he's within a quarter of a second, but it looks like he's going to hold position now. Lenny going on the offensive now. Here we got, it'll be 6 laps to go. The Frenchman, he's got that many laps and that many opportunities into turn 1 left to make a move on the German driver. And what could be a key race for the championship later on in the season. These guys about to kick it off. We're going to keep an eye on these two as this is the battle for the win here. Neither driver has penalties. I don't believe any driver has picked. Well, I don't know how many drivers have, how many warnings these guys have, but we're going to stick with Lenny now. Lenny going to go on board with him. You can see there, Jan Fehler using a lot of battery. Lenny not really using any, but there he's getting so much after getting such a good run. He's going to go up the inside in turn 1, but Jan Failer able to break much deeper, knowing that he'll have a car up his inside. And Failer holding it around the outside. Lenny going for the switchback to go for the around the outside turn 4, but he's not able to make it work. Now maybe going for a switchback through turn 5, but no. He's still on the rear diffuser of Jan. Jan using more battery now, which could be crucial. Lenny getting a decent amount. He's got the slipstream. He's going to go around the outside now into turn 6. These two drivers side by side through turn 6. Oh, Lenny trying to go around the outside. Will give him the inside line for turn 7. Lenny on the inside, but Jan Failer swooping around the outside, getting a better top speed through the corner, leaving the space though. Lenny still alongside on the exit of turn number 8. He's going to stick behind Failer for another lap there, but here we go into the braking zone. Failer does not have DRS. How much battery does he have left? He's still got a lot, so he's not using too much battery, but neither is Lenny. Lenny going to go switch to the right-hand side of the track. He's going to go to the move. He's going to have the provisional race lead here. Will he be fully ahead in the braking zone? Yes, he will. Lenny up into the lead of the race. The Frenchman taking the lead on lap 53 through turn 1. Jan Failer down to P2, but we still have plenty of time to go. We got 4 laps and 2 sectors left in this race. Plenty of time. Oh, Johan under pressure from Maestro Hoffy. Hoffy going up the inside of turn 4. Johan going for the switch back there, and you can see the Ferrari getting pushed off the track a little bit. There goes Deads, capitalizing on an opportunity. Will he get a 2-for-1 here? He's going to go around the outside. Oh, will they go 3 wide into turn 6? Oh, dear Lord. What's going to happen? Maestro Hoffy sends it right up the inside, back up to P5. Johan sent wide. Deads is sent even wider. That's going to open up the forward for Dean. Dean, there he goes. Dean's up to 7. Dead's losing out and dropping to P8. Maestro Hoffy really sending it and breaking late, probably making a little bit of contact with the Williams. Hoffy holding on to P5 for now after taking it from Johan. These drivers really starting to flex the elbows right now, but Jan Failer now, he's going up the inside of Lenny into turn number 1. The McLaren braking later. He has the line. Will Lenny pull the switch back though? No, he does not get the traction on the exit. Lenny trying to go around the outside into turn 4, but no, nothing doing there. He's just going to have to sit in tow for the McLaren right now. But we saw him last time get a really good run. He's going to go to the inside line for turn number 6. He likes that inside line for the corner, and Lenny retakes the lead. But Jan braking very late. These two just leaving just enough space for each other. And now it's just a battle of thousandths of a second. Jan Failer holding on to the lead right now. Lenny trying to go around the outside through turn number 8. And Jan Failer will hold on to the lead right now, but still less than 2 tenths between the two of them. Jan Failer giving a little bit of wiggle, probably a thank you for that, leaving the space here. Now they'll cross the line with 3 to go. And it's absolutely magnificent racing from the front 2 and the rest of the field. There goes Lenny once again, using his battery that he's stored up these last 20-some laps, going to the inside for turn 1. Jan doing everything he can to hold around the outside through turn 1. Lenny braking later this time than the McLaren, who can't make a switch back through turn 2. And Lenny will have the race lead through turns 3 and 4. But now can Jan get the run? No, he does not get a good enough run out of turn 4. It looks like Lenny will hold on to the race lead for now as we go through lap 55. We'll have 2.5 laps to go in the race. Christian Sendo almost in DRS range of Fernandez. Dean, meanwhile, really trying to make a move on Johan. Deads was the biggest loser prior when Johan and Maestro started fighting, as Deads lost positions rather gaining them. And now Dean, looking to get more points for the McLaren team, will have a position in Maestro, but he's looking to get another one in Johan. Now coming out of the final corner now, it might be who's going to be behind for the final lap, it looks like. On lap 56, it's the penultimate lap. There goes Jan Failer up the inside of Lenny. They're going to swap positions once again. This is phenomenal stuff by the leading pair. The two of them battling it out each lap. Jan Failer taking the lead. But could this give Lenny the race victory? If you think about it, if Lenny just stays behind right now, does not go for the move through turn 6 like he did previously, Lenny just holds behind right now, gets close up out of the final corner. If he's got the battery, he might go for the race lead down the front straight and into turn 1. Jan Failer, though, what kind of battery does he have left? He's got 44% now. Lenny was 63. So 1 lap and a sector to go. We'll have to wait to see. Yes, there was an early safety car in the race on lap 15. Jan Failer currently leading the way, the German driver, with 2/10 of a second to Lenny behind as they come out of the penultimate and through the final corners now. They're both going to just absolutely drain their battery down the front straight here. Lenny, here he goes. Will Lenny, he's going to go to the right-hand side of the track. There's nothing Failer can do. He does not have DRS to help defend. And Lenny goes into the lead of the race right now through turn 1. Will Jan Failer have an answer? We saw turn 6 as the other overtaking opportunity. But if Jan can't get close enough out of turn 4, he's 4/10 behind. I don't think that's close enough. I think Lenny will have the race win here. Looks like Jan Failer is doing everything he can, but Lenny still had a lot of battery left over. And Lenny here going through turn number 6 now in the Renault. Holding on to the race lead. Lenny, he's just got 3 corners to go, just needs to keep it clean. And he will win 4 out of 5 races. A phenomenal battle between him and Jan Failer, them taking the lead from each other back and forth as we go through turn 9 and out of the final corner now for this very long Bahrain short Grand Prix. And there you have it, folks. Lenny wins the race here at Bahrain. Jan Failer holding P2. Fernandez picking up a phenomenal podium from P3. Christian Sendel, P4. Mr. Hoffey, P5 on track, but Johan takes that from him. There you can see Dead's purposely crashing into the walls across the line. He will drop to P7. Razor up to P6. Dean down to P8. Bibley P9. And Mr. Hoffey dropping all the way down to P10 after having 6 seconds of time penalties. An absolute masterclass of a performance indeed from the front 2, and for the most of the field, a lot of that battling was very clean. A couple lockups here or there, but holy cow, I'm just out of breath, folks. Like, oh man, that was probably the most intense 1 hour of racing we have seen this season. Battling everywhere, a track that is very hard to overtake once we saw the gaps form. Wow, just wow. A drive of a future champion from Lenny there. Jan Failer giving it his all. Lenny giving his all. The two of them saving their battery for the late in the race. Still having that phenomenal overall pace. Taking the race victory is Lenny. Jan Failer in P2. Fernandez routing out the podium. Phenomenal stuff from the front two. My driver of the day, though, probably has got to go to Fernandez. And the fact that was his best result of the season. And even though he wasn't able to keep up with the front two, he still was able to just pull away. It looks like Christian Sendel getting held in the pits there hurt him just enough, and it'll put him behind the 2 medium runners. And he just wasn't able to catch back up to Fernandez. As a result, Fernandez is my driver of the day from starting P4, finishing on the podium. First podium of the season. Christian Sendel in P4, Johan P5, F1 Racer P6, Deads P7, Pierre Dean, the newcomer, in P8, Bibley P9, and Mr. Hoffey rounding out the top 10. We had 4 DNFs on the day of Max AMG, Red Tux Tissue, and Crewnex Tissue's DNF looking rather interesting. It looks like he might have put it into the pit wall, so we might see that in the stewards after that, as that did bring out the safety car. We're going to go ahead now and scroll over to the incident report. We're going to go ahead and take a look to make sure if any driver needs that for a post-race race director for any kind of stewarding inquiries. Go ahead now, look at the tire compound. So the gamble that Kev Jennings pulled off by not pitting early on did not pay off. He was not able to get close enough. You see there's 10, or he was not 10 seconds, excuse me. That was Regas to Kev Jennings. But Regas did have the same strategy as him. Kev Jennings 3 seconds too far behind Mr. Hoffey, just not close enough after penalties. Now, if he didn't have that 3-second time penalty, if he could somehow get it removed, he would, and now he wouldn't get him because it's 3.1. Very unfortunate stuff there. But that is your final result today, folks. Absolutely phenomenal race. Wow, I am just speechless after that one. Oh, it's a good thing I poured myself a huge water, because I'm going to need a couple sips from that. Yeah, Jan and Lenny definitely had 11 out of 10 drives. Battling at the front. Holy cow. Oh, that's... I gotta say, I've commentated almost every race from last season. And I did a whole season of commentating through the ACC stuff, and I've started commenting this first race season. I've commentated with some very good racing, some very good action. But I feel like this one's probably one of my favorite races to commentate over the course of the race, because not only did it have that late race battling we saw for the leaders that I've seen in previous races where it's been absolutely chaotic. There was battling from start to finish. I mean, that safety car, even though how it came out was unfortunate, there was just battling throughout the whole field. The whole field was, the guys were going for moves. They knew how hard it was, and they were just taking chances. Wow, that was some phenomenal stuff. Let's see here now if anyone wants a push race interview. PC main. All right. Oh, I am sweating after commentating. Yeah, that was definitely coming. As right now, we don't have anyone joining the box at the moment. I ping the drivers in case someone decided. We'll have to wait and see. I'll do the best I can to hold my voice, but we'll give it a minute, see if we can get anyone here in the box. But yeah, thankfully there was no rain, as that would have just been. Whew. But I don't think we needed that. That was just from start to finish an amazing race to watch. I hope you all enjoyed us. All we've been averaging. How many viewers have we averaged? Roughly between 60-ish. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate everyone watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. I'm not seeing anyone coming in. Give it another minute. Wait until it says 4:35 on my clock since I'm still in America. And if no one decides to come in, then we'll just go ahead and wrap things up. Yeah. All right, we do have finally an interview of Fernandez, so it'll be great to get him in the box here. Let's go ahead and bring him on in. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring in VL Fernandez, the Brazilian who finished P3 in the Williams. Let's go ahead and hear what his thoughts are. Hello there, Fernandez. That was probably one of your best drives of the season. How are you feeling after that?
I don't know even what to say, man. My first podium here. Of course, my best race of my life, for sure.
Oh, that was just an absolutely beautiful drive. I mean, just walk me through what was going through your head. Mainly through the second stint, per se. I mean, we saw the first stint, you were just kind of keeping with the guys up ahead, but the second stint, you were just kind of in no man's land. What was going through your head through that 30-some laps there?
Well, that first stint was really difficult, and I couldn't manage to follow the guys in front. But when the safety car came, I think I jumped Christian in the pit stops, and I could. I don't know. The pace was very good. I didn't understand why, but it was really intense in my head, and I'm really happy.
Yeah, that was one thing I was noting, is that it looked like it was a mental battle, especially in no man's land with how long that was.
I was trying to not think about that.
Yeah.
It was all okay.
I mean, you said you don't know where your pace came from, and beats me where it did, but it was basically at some points you were one of the fastest cars on track. You're only losing very, very small amounts to the front two up ahead, because you were keeping everyone else at bay, and even though you ran out of battery early on, and the fact that you did was absolutely impressive with the pace you kept up on.
Yeah, I ran out of energy like fifth lap, I think, and I was using every corner, every straight, and he came out good. I know.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal job. Usually I'm a little more lively after the races, but all the action on track has just absolutely destroyed my voice today. I guess you could say that's the only downside about the race for you, is you didn't get to battle as much as you'd liked. but you
Yeah.
still were able to get a podium, which is absolutely fantastic. Your best result of the season. Now, do you think you can carry this momentum in 2 weeks when we go to Monza, as I believe next week is a break week? Do you think you can carry that momentum as we go to another very high-speed track?
Well, Monza is a track that I like, and I will try my best to keep in front of the midfield. So I'm really excited for that.
All right, well, we're excited for it too. We're hoping that you can possibly get another podium, and hey, maybe you can keep up with the leaders next time around. I mean, you had plenty of pace today, and again, definitely one of your best races. Thank you for joining me
Thank you,
today.
Fizzy.
Yeah, you're welcome. You
It
know,
was a
if you're,
pleasure, man.
of course, yeah. And going forward, if you ever want a post-race interview, doesn't matter the result, you're always welcome in. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully continue your success in 2 weeks when we're back out on track.
Okay, thank you, man.
Yep, you're welcome. Have a good one. All right, and that was the voice of Viel Fernandez, the Brazilian, having an absolutely phenomenal drive. His best of the season. Might I remind you, going into this race, he had 2 points to his name, and now he walks away with 15 and a podium. Superb drive from him. And it looks like he'll be the only one we'll be interviewing today, which is fine. That was a really long one. These drivers got to be really tired after that. I mean, they're not used to almost hour-long races. Usually it's 45 minutes, but hey, these drivers all deserve, you know, a nice glass of whatever they prefer, maybe some nice food and a nice relaxing bath for sure, because I'm sure a lot of these guys are probably sweating. So thank you everyone for watching today. This has been a feature presentation with Apex Online Racing, Hype Energy Formula One Leagues, PC F1, and we thank you so much for joining us here today. We'll be back in 2 weeks, like I said, for more F1 action. This coming week is a break week, and we will be back for Monza for round number, I believe that is round number 6. So hopefully in that off week you guys don't get too bored. There will be plenty of AOR action going on in the meantime. I do know, let me look. I believe the iRacing League is still going with the GT3 action. That is still going on. The Project Cars League, however, I believe just wrapped up. So you should just keep an eye on the YouTube channel for more race AOR content. Hopefully next weekend as well, we'll be able to broadcast the Formula 2 Sprint League for you once we get all the technical issues sorted out over there. And we hope to see you back once again in 2 weeks. Thank you very so much for watching. I'm Fizzymon, and thank you for watching today, and we hope you guys have a wonderful evening.